The use of poison to kill and threaten dates back to the very beginnings of human civilization, and it has held a powerful position in our history ever since. A silent threat posed through everything from mushrooms and flowers to radioactive substances and ricin, and of course, arsenic. Once used so regularly to get rid of unwanted relatives, it became known as the inheritance powder. The premeditated nature of poison means it can, and has, been delivered to its victims in the most imaginative and devious of ways. In Canada, the first half of the 20th century saw stories of murder by poison spilled liberally across the pages of the country's newspapers. Because of its ease of administration, poison has often been known as a women's weapon, a powerful addition to the arsenal of black widows, or Lady Bluebeards, who could unknowingly slip substances to their targets without so much as breaking a nail or a sweat. Italian Giulia Tofana was executed in the 1600s after allegedly confessing to killing 600 men through the sale of her acqua tofana, a powerful and undetectable poison she sold to unhappy wives in the packaging of a women's cosmetic. But while access to poisons increased, so did both their detection and treatment, and a broader public awareness of poison as a weapon. At some point, store clerks began to get suspicious when someone asked for enough gopher poison to kill a man, and poison books were increasingly used to record purchases at druggists and hardware stores. The decline in poison deaths in Canada was significant enough that by the spring of 1954, Dr. H. Ward Smith declared at a conference in Regina that poison murders were becoming unfashionable and that poison was rapidly going out of style as a murder medium. But while easier detection may have dissuaded some from a poisonous path, in other ways, poison's lethal history was just getting started. In 1984, members of the Rajneeshi community in Oregon attempted to hijack the results of a local election by launching a food poisoning attack, which sickened more than 700 people and remains the largest bioterrorism attack in the history of the United States. In 1995, members of a Japanese doomsday cult killed 12 people and injured hundreds more with a sarin attack on a Tokyo subway. Recent years have also seen the renewed rise of poison in a number of high-profile international incidents. Picture Viktor Yushchenko, seriously disfigured after being poisoned with dioxin while a candidate in the Ukrainian presidential election in 2004. Or former KGB agent Alexander Litvinenko, lying in his hospital bed in 2006, dying from exposure to the radioactive isotope polonium-210, believed to have been slipped to him in a pot of tea. Alexei Navalny was on his way back to Moscow in August when he ordered a cup of black tea at the airport in Tomsk, Russia. It wasn't long before the 44-year-old opposition leader and vocal critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin was rendered violently ill, forcing an emergency landing to rush him to hospital. Mr. Navalny has since been transported to Germany for treatment, and officials there have confirmed the attack was committed with Novichok, the Soviet-era nerve agent that was also identified in an attack on former KGB spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter in 2018. The Kremlin has denied responsibility. Poisons have seen enough of a resurgence that a fall 2016 feature in the New York Times asked whether official tasters could once again become a practice for the powerful, noting, quote, "Poison has come back in vogue in the shadow world of espionage, a privileging of subterfuge over brute force, in keeping with the insidious expansion of warfare to the virtual world, lending everything the sheen of falsehood and conspiracy."